So my record, The Sound of Detroit, Strata Records, The Sound of Detroit, Volume 2 compilation. I put it together because the first one, Volume 1, got a lot of like great feedback. A lot of people, especially for a lot of the unreleased stuff that I have, because I still have a lot of unreleased stuff from the Strata catalog. And I just felt is about time to do it. I still have some great stuff to give people to show the range of music and music genres and styles that Strata was involved in that they never really got a chance to put out because they only lasted from 1970 to 1975. So it was a really short time period. Not like their cousin Strata East out of New York, where they were around for quite a while and they put out a lot of different records. Strata was only able to put out officially 6 records. But since I've had the rights to the label since 2012, I've released this next one will be 27 records. So that's not bad. You know what I mean? That's not bad at all for a label that only really put out 6 records. And for those that don't know about Strata Records from Detroit, which was first before Strata East, was founded by Kenny Cox, Charles Moore, and the others involved with the group. There's such a great story about Strata Records, but they were the ones that influenced Strata East, which was founded by Charles Tolliver and Stanley Cowell. So really how I became involved with Strata or got to know even about Strata Records was just through buying a record from my friend from San Francisco like 30 years ago, the Lyman Woodard Organization record. I was like, this looks like a bootleg. I've heard of Strata East Records. I've never heard of Strata. I thought he was trying to get over on me. But when I saw the cover and I was like, man, this is a fucking amazing, cover. And then listening to the record, it was amazing. And then you look on the back of the record and it has all these records that were supposed to come out. So as a record collector, I'm looking for all of those records. You can't find them because 3 of them never came out. So fast forward, when I became the label manager at Wax Poetics Records in 2007, one of the first things I said to myself, I'm going to find Lyman Woodard and I'm going to reissue that record. And I talked to my man House Shoes and he was like, oh yeah, I know Lyman Jr., man. He has a shop in Hamtramck, which is like a suburb or I think a little part of Detroit. He has a tattoo shop there. So I talked to Lyman. Lyman Jr. puts me in touch with Lyman Sr. I fly out to Detroit and, I take him to dinner. Him and Ron English, who's another artist on Strata Records, they both came to dinner and they were just telling me all these amazing stories about back in the days when they used to play and, how Lyman, worked with Dennis Coffey and this and that and the other. And he gave me the masters. And then so being the person that I am, I was like, we, Wax Poetics, should do a deal for the whole Strata catalog. They were not interested in doing that. So I said, you know what? I've been here for 3 years. I set up the label. It's time for me to go start my own. So when I started my label in 2012, I started it with Strata Records. I went back out to Detroit. This time I'm speaking to Barbara Cox. She's the widow of Kenny Cox. She had the ownership and we worked out a license deal. And that's how I really got to Strata Records. So from my 2026, in terms of me touring and where I'm going to be, in terms of this record, and just in terms of me personally as a DJ, a lot of it will be in Europe. I'll be back in Asia again towards the end of the year. But a lot of things I'm going to be doing. It's not just DJing, but having more talking to people and explaining to them the history of Strata and how Strata fits into the whole black jazz independent scene of the 70s, of self-awareness and self-reliance and, just being independent and being innovative and creative. Talking about those things because those topics, those issues are so important to people to this day. A lot of the things that they were doing back then, people are just kind of getting put on to now or think that they have discovered, these certain situations. So there'll be a lot of talks like that. Places like there's a new place in London called Mason Fifth. It's a hotel, but they do talks there. They recently had done something on D'Angelo when they had Lauryn Hill call in and had Rich Medina talk. So I'll be doing hopefully a talk on Strata Records there. Since I was in the Middle East region, I have a friend in Abu Dhabi. We're trying to do something there as well, and bringing the history of black jazz to that region. So just trying to reach out to different people who don't know about this scene and don't know about this music and educate them in a way that no one else is trying to do. And in terms of me just DJing, again, I've been DJing for so long and I've been traveling around the world, but there's still parts of the world that I haven't been to. Like I haven't been to Africa, I haven't been to Latin America. You know what I mean? So this year I'm trying to check those off the box. You know what I mean? And be places and introduce people to my sound and to me and to my knowledge of music. All that kind of stuff. So Asia, Europe, and America as well. I plan on being in America, back at home, sometime in the spring. So it's going to be a full year, hopefully, God willing. Well, some of the artists that I would really love to work with, I would love to have worked with DJ Premier and Gangstar. You know what I mean? That would definitely people. I mean, I got to work with Pete Rock, who's one of the seminal people for me, and I got to work with Jay Dilla. But Primo is one of the people that I would really have loved. But you never know; it could still happen. But he's one of the people that I would love to work with. I have worked with Common in the past, but I would love to work with him again. Who else? People like J. Cole, some of the new artists, Kendrick Lamar, I don't know what I could impart to him, but just to be in the same studio with people like that, working with them. And there's a lot of people, but in terms of I think that in terms of music today, those are the kind of people that I would kind of work with. Oh, who I want to work with? Because I did the project with Jazz and Nova. Is this group called Coco Roco from England, and I saw them in Dubai at Soul DXB, and I came over to them and I was like, man, you guys are incredible. When somebody says you're incredible live, you got something. So hopefully there might be another Sound of Detroit, reinterpretation album, maybe with them. Shout out to BBE, for rocking with me for the last 20 years, either through me and Khan being signed to the label or, my own distribution deal with them. It's their 30th anniversary this year. So, hopefully I get a chance to, rock the stage with everybody else. Definitely want to give you a shout, Azia and Fusicology, for all the support over the years. You have supported me over the years for a long time, so I got to give you props for that. Thank you very, very, very much for that. Who else? My agent, Joe, from Remote Artists, who's been doing a really great job. He represents myself, Khan, Rich Medina, and a few other people. So, and just thank God for blessing me to continue to do what I love to do, because not many people can say that.